How's it cooking? We getting all right? Actual recording
Yeah,
all right
yeah.
together?
Get right back to it after this, Be a welcome distraction from fucking whatever that was. Yeah, so let's jump into it. Listen, the first 5 games of the year felt really, really good, and then the last 24 hours have just been incredibly deflating.
Extremely frustrating, and I mean, just issues that we've seen in Syracuse for a while. Uh, Even when it feels like we were making progress, it just like whatever that second half we just witnessed there against Iowa State was. I mean, it's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I mean, they're going to maybe lose this half. I haven't looked at the final point total by 40 points.
Yeah.
40 points.
Uh, we're recording this now as the last few minutes take off here. Obviously, things to do before Thanksgiving, and if this team's gonna quit halfway through the game, I'm not gonna hold myself to it. So, tough end to the players era where I thought it's unfortunate because I think for like 75% of this tournament we played really well, but it's gonna be a kind of a disaster to end. So, let's jump into it. You're watching Domed in Cuse, the quick hit podcast for real Orange fans. If you love Cuse sports, hit like and subscribe. Okay. Alrighty. So let's jump right into it. We have 2 games that we're gonna cover here, the last 2 games. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do this 30-second shot clock for both games. So let's start with the Kansas game. Ready? Kansas, we played a pretty good game overall, I would say, against Kansas. We really missed our certain opportunities at moments, and I think we really missed Donnie. In the beginning of the game, we were kind of letting Badunga do whatever he wanted. We wasted off him a little bit, but we were able to adjust to that in the second half and play much tighter on him. We pretty much closed that game down to a really, really close game, and then towards the end, let it slip away to lose about by 12. So tough game, but all around okay. All right, I think that's pretty good. And then for this last game versus Iowa State, Iowa State came out and kind of punched us right away. Again, we were down 10 midway through the first. We were able to battle back and tie the game. Then kind of little bit back and forth before the half, so that was unfortunate. In the second half, we came out dead. I think we saw that the starting five right now just isn't really working together at all, and they kind of let that game get to 10 points pretty quickly to start the second half, and it's only gotten worse since then. So a miserable way for us to end the Players Era tournament. A really bad adjustment at half by Red, if there was any adjustment versus Iowa State, and we're going back home with nothing in our hands, unfortunately.
Yeah, it feels like we blew a lot of opportunities this week. And then the second half against Iowa State was a complete disaster. There's no other way to put it. Honestly, since the Houston game, I mean, the offense overall has been a disaster. We look horrific on the offensive end of the floor. Up until halftime of this Iowa State game, I think our defense has been awesome. There's been some quitting here in the second half of this game, which some of which I can understand. Third game in 3 days, we're getting run out of the gym. I get it to a certain degree, but the offense, man, I don't. We've said this for years. We said this before the season starts. We don't run a whole lot at Syracuse. I have no idea what we're trying to do when we have the ball. Not a clue. And there's a million different directions you can go with this. The guard play was atrocious again today. I, I don't even know what we're trying to accomplish when we have the ball. It's just your turn, my turn, ISO, launch a three. Next possession, your turn, my turn, ISO, launch a three. Next possession, Nate George dribbles into a corner, lazy lob pass to nobody in the middle of the floor, turnover. Like that's what our offense is right now.
Between Nate George and JJ, how much those guys pick up the ball in just the worst spots on the court. JJ multiple times today had pick and rolls, and he dribbled the ball backwards 5 feet and then picked it up in a double team.
They both did. They both. I mean,
Nate George just runs into the corner every time, picks it up, and I just don't understand what he's doing.
I can't understand what they're doing. The two of them, like, and I understand that we're not running anything. We're not running anything. I mean, there's a lazy motion offense that rears its head every once in a while here that we just don't run with any urgency. But
I
at a
mean, Greg
certain
Anthony
point,
said that on the broadcast. Sorry to cut you off there, but he literally said that point on the broadcast, which is like, this team is not snapping the ball around on offense.
no,
You can tell that they're playing kind of slow and lazy because, like, you can watch them when they throw the ball around, the other team is rotating and covering back to the rotations before anything. And occasionally you lead to a couple open threes, and we haven't hit those consistently enough. But, I'm not mad at a lot of the shots by some of our guys. Betsy in particular, I know he shot a lot, but I'm not mad at a lot of the shots he's shooting. I just don't think we're doing a good job getting everybody in rhythm and getting everybody set. And then a lot of these shots are coming as like bailout because they're the only shots we can get.
we're launching. Yeah, we have to. Like it's right. Like Betsy. Like I can't blame Betsy. We're throwing him grenades. Like he has to shoot. Like
Same thing with
what else?
Cayenne, honestly.
We're just tossing these guys the rock, and it's like someone's got to figure it out at the end of the shot clock, or we got to get a shot up on the rim, right? And so there's so many different things that are bothering me about how we're playing offense right now. But I mean, like, yeah, just the guards, and even too, we finally started to unlock it maybe 2/3 of the way through the second half when it was already over anyway. We need to set a ball screen with someone other than our five man. Like,
Yep.
we have not seemed to figure out that Kyle and Soiree are not Donnie Freeman out
Right.
there. Like
We've been
them
missing Donnie
popping,
in that.
that no one is guarding them, and they're not looking for the ball. They don't know what to do with it when they get it in their hands. We don't want them acting as we clearly we're not comfortable with them acting as playmakers. Put Sadiq in that role. Put somebody else in that role. You see, it works a few times with Tyler Betsy when we pop and just use him as a screener.
There's a couple of
Enough
plays with JJ and Betsy in the pick and roll that really worked. Pick and
right, where he's
pop, really. But
popping to the top of the key and it works. But like whatever we're trying to do, spamming these screen and rolls with William Kyle, where we don't have any comfort in throwing him the ball. There's no feel. He's not a threat to score at any point aside from being next to the rim. Like we just and that's all we do. That's the only action we seem to run. It just I'm ranting, but it's such a frustrating watch. When we
listen,
have
it's
the
a good
ball.
rant, but the other thing is, I was willing after the Houston game. I thought we played great, right? So if we back that up to the Houston game, I thought we played great in the Houston game, and that was great to see. I think we adjusted well without Donnie in the first game, and then in the second game, I was ready to say, "Wow, we really just missed Donnie here." And there were certain moments against Kansas where we weren't able to, get any kind of offense going.
Give me the
And it was
bucket.
kind of
Yep.
like you missed being able to dump it to Donnie. And then also we had talked about, Donnie would have really been a weapon at the five in that game because it might have played Flory off the floor or at least put
Yep.
him in a really, not opportune position for him on defense. Right. And so not having that, I was willing to blame the Kansas loss on Donnie. And then you get to halftime versus a very, very good Iowa State team. Let's not sugarcoat it
He
either,
was
right? The three
good.
teams we've played have been very, very good
Yeah.
teams. But you get to halftime in a 1 point game against an Iowa State team, and it just all falls apart here at the end. And I don't know if the guys are tired, if this is, kind of the problem with having a ton of young guys and freshmen, but without Donnie and all that, and I'd love for that to be the excuse. But the problem is, to me right now, the problem on this team is that JJ and Nate isn't working
At all. It's not. We can't generate good shots. We're not like our. It's not working, and we're not running anything. So it's just like we're not making it easier on anybody at all either. That combination is just nothing is happening. Like how many possessions do we just have to watch one of them dribble at 25, 30, 40 feet with nothing going on? With like 20 seconds in the shot clock, we start to half run in action. We make one lazy pass. Like it's just like we're not getting into anything. There's no urgency. There's just no priority to initiate the offense in the first 10 seconds that we have the ball. And I'm not sure where we're going from here, at least on that side of the ball right now. It's just yeah, I think to your point, you can doctor up some of the stuff yesterday to not having Donnie, and that's tough, right? Just strategy wise, it would have been a nice option to have. To just keep doing the same things we've done 3 games in a row now with no changes, it's like you're seeing the difference in coaching staffs. We played 3 great coaches this week, right? Sampson, Self, Otzelberger, probably 3 of the best coaches in the sport, 3 of the top 10 to 15. There's a difference, right, in how those teams execute. and it's just they're able to run things. They're able to run things and get themselves baskets when they need them. We're not.
Yeah. Personally for me, I'd like to start at like I don't know why we keep throwing this starting five out there. This starting five has not played any good minutes for us. They have been behind the entire time in the games we've played. Like it doesn't matter any moments in these games. They've been the lineup that has allowed the other team to go on runs to start the game tonight, to start the second half tonight. There was a stretch in the first half where they all got in and we had to take them back out to end the half because it wasn't working. You just can't you can't I don't know what they were against Kansas, but I didn't love it against Kansas either. And I don't know what he does because I don't know who to take out. I don't know who to put in necessarily, but whatever it is, that five that is on the floor, Kyle, Sadiq, George, Kings, JJ, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, particularly on offense. I thought we started the game well defensively tonight again. We've done that the last couple games. I thought, although yesterday we were flory, but they just can't execute on offense. We cannot get good look. We can't generate any looks on offense with that five. And I'm with you. Like we can't just keep tossing that out there without any adjustments moving forward. Like the take turns on the ISO ball, that does not work against good teams. Like that's why we're playing great coaches. They know it's coming. They're going to stonewall that attack. Right? Yeah, it'll work against some of the bottom half ACC teams this year. We'll get some wins and we'll be able to score on people. But
It's
like you're
not working
saying,
on
man, with
John
this,
Shire.
it's not. It's not going to work on. It's not going to work on him. Yeah, it might work against Georgia Tech this year. Great, like I just I'm a little befuddled by our offensive performance the last couple nights, and yeah, some of it the last couple days, like Houston, Kansas, we missed some open shots. Differences in that game yesterday, like we make three or four threes, yeah, maybe we win that game, honestly, or it's much closer. Tonight, that is not the answer. We actually did start to make some shots in this game. It just we did not generate enough good looks, and then we just fell apart. Like the defense eventually just kind of let way.
Well, there's a whole crowd out there that's like no moral victories. I think there's just a large crowd of our fan base right now that's just kind of happy to see us not succeed and wants a new coach.
Yeah,
I think that's just sadly the case. Um, but the I, I don't view it as like moral victories or this or that. Like I look at it like how did we play in the game? And the way we
yeah,
played versus Houston was really, really strong. Like I know we lost that
yeah.
game in overtime, but we played great defensively. We played hard, right? Because it's a hard team to play against in Houston. And we brought it down to the end of the game and one chance, one shot to win the game, and we didn't get it. Fine. Like I I am not particularly upset by the result there.
No, me
I
either. That was the.
was yesterday a little
Oh,
bit
go ahead.
upset by the result. No, you're fine. I was yesterday a little bit upset by the result, but again, I looked at it and said, one of the big things we schematically could have done was put Donnie at the five, right? And that really could have put them in a not great position. We called it out weeks ago. So I was really ready to today clean slate. Let's just go in and see if we can find a way to win a game. And after halftime, being down one to a really good Iowa State team, it felt good. And I don't know what happened
Yeah.
here at the end of this one.
No, to your point, like I'm ranting a little bit. Like it just sort of puts a horrible taste in the mouth for the whole week, even from what were two kind of competitive losses that you could at least have silver linings for. You go back home after this one. There's no silver linings, right? Like they just no showed that second half, and it's tough. It really is because I was really encouraged, Houston. I think you heard on our last pod, we were pretty pumped. Like we looked like a real basketball team, and uh, we haven't really seen that since the end of the second half of the Houston game. I don't think we've played anywhere near as well really since that point, and we got to go back to the drawing board because our margin of error for the rest of the season is basically zero. No, it's not. You probably got to really try and beat Tennessee, which seems like quite the endeavor after watching them play, and then you know you're basically into the ACC season, and you're going to have to hold court and do a lot more if we want to be dancing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to win a lot of games in the ACC. We're probably gonna need to win. we're gonna need to go far in that ACC tournament as well, right? Like you're gonna need to leave a good taste in the committee's mouth because you're not necessarily gonna have the resume that you're gonna want at the end of the year, but it's one of those things that the committee values. They do in both college sports. They value what they see the last time you play, right? So if you go into it and you have a really good ACC tournament, it can balance out having a really bad feast week tournament. But you know, that's how this is going to be looked at. And if you can't find a way to beat Tennessee, you're going to lose all the credit you would have gotten from an overtime loss to Houston, because then people will say, "Oh, Houston just didn't play that well in that game." Right. And that'll be the talking point instead of, "Oh, wow, Syracuse did a good job playing tough against Houston." Right. And like that's kind of where it's at. Right. And as the game goes final here, Iowa State 95, Syracuse 64. Not much else to say about this. I think we could dive into the players now if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That's a 59-point second half for Iowa
Yeah.
State, or is that a full
60 point. It's a 60 point.
60
It was
points?
35, 34. Well, 60.
Jesus.
That's what we've been giving up per game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, it's just like you put a ton of pressure on yourself the rest of the year now. Yeah, we had some good opportunities out here at this tournament. We didn't finish these games, and it sucks. I know I'm very down right now. I do like clearly this team is improved. It's much improved from last year. We're just leaving so much meat on the bone right now. It's honestly it's just like tantalizing. It's already becoming very quickly frustrating because we're watching this team play there for stretches. We look like we belong with anybody in the country, and then there's just other stretches where it's like I don't know what we are trying to do out on the basketball court.
But it's never athletically. It's never like, hey, athletically we don't look the part. Last year there were
No.
times where it was like, hey, athletically we just don't look the part.
No, we lost the game in layup lines last year.
Right. This year it's not that way.
Not at all. It's just I think that's like there is going to be. We got to see some improvement, and we've got to see some level of like game plan on the offensive end of the floor. We can't continue to just trot out. Frankly, nothing. Like we were texting back and forth the last few days about like wanting to get certain guys more involved in certain ways. Like we want to allow Sadiq some touches so he can try and create a little bit offensively, right? We
6
want to
for
get
7 today, leading point scorer, Sadiq.
Right. We want to get Nate King some more shots in rhythm. We want to fucking get Kyan some more shots in rhythm. Maybe some opportunities to catch the ball going downhill. We just waste possessions, man. How many possessions do we just come out there? There's no urgency. We have no plan. And then it's just another 3 possessions go by and nobody's gotten a touch that they need. No one's seeing the ball in areas where they're really capable of scoring. It's just simply not how you run a productive offense in basketball, particularly in the college game. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating. I just feel like we left a lot of opportunities out there this week.
So jumping in now to player by player here, just a little bit of kind of how everyone did in the Players Era tournament. Let's start with the guy who I think has probably been our best player in this tournament. That's William Kyle. I think you mentioned earlier asking him to maybe do more than he's comfortable with, trying to expand his role. I actually think he did a great job somewhat expanding his role, taking on more offense, trying to create. Obviously, it's hard because when he does kind of take a couple dribbles and attack the hoop, he gets fouled a lot because he just cannot shoot free throws like everybody else on this team. But outside of that specific small part of the game, the free throws and not being able to make them, he has looked really, really good, really strong defensively. I think he plays with an attitude that helps pick everybody else up. Very, very athletic. Offensively, defensively, can kind of do it all. So I really love what I've seen from William Kyle in this tourney.
Yeah, honestly, I think you can make a real argument. He was our best player through pretty much 2 games yesterday. He wasn't bad at all today either. He was fine today. I mean, he's awesome. Like he plays with the energy and effort that you want from your 5-man. He anchors the defense. He's great on the glass. He is honestly the primary reason our defense is so improved. Is that you have an anchor as a big guy. You can build a whole defense around that. Yeah, I mean, obviously the free throw shooting is unfortunate, but you can work around that with a big guy. Like he should be a finishing 5. right? Like, just what it is. He should be dunking the ball. That's the opportunities that he should be getting. And so you can kind of work around that. My one thing about William Kyle right now is I honestly think he needs to be playing more. Like I I think he should be on the court for 35 minutes a game while Donnie is out right now. Like I don't think we can be playing Soiree. Like he played way too much today and it hurt us, I think. I don't know if maybe a little bit of his Kyle's just playing so hard he can't play for those long stretches, but that is one thing. Like we are noticeably different when he's not on the court right now, particularly without Donnie. And I honestly think we need to do a better job of sorting out his minutes. So I don't know, that's my one big thing on
I
him.
disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think that I would rather take the productivity we get out of him instead of trying to stretch his minutes and potentially losing kind of the fire that he brings and that intensity. We have to figure out other ways to be able to survive the minutes without him on the court. They're not that many. He's still playing 28, 30 minutes a game, which is fine for me. Um, yeah, I personally just disagree with that. I would rather get 100% of his effort and then try to lose some of his effort to gain a few extra minutes because we can't do anything else with it. And I, I don't think even Suarez been that bad. I just think the offense around those guys has not been good, and I think that that's more
Uh,
the issue. But that's me.
yeah, I disagree there. Not so much on the idea of the concept of it. I think Suarez minutes have been dreadful the last two games, and so like that's my main point of where I'm coming from. There is like I don't know, has Suarez taken a shot this year? Do we know? Has he
I don't
attempted
know.
a
No
shot?
idea.
Like uh, it, he's been a problem the last two games. Like it was not good against Florida yesterday, and he's got to play better. That solves the problem, is him playing better. But my reasoning for that is that his minutes have been a concern. He's not contesting shots at the rim tonight, too. Like there was that and one in the first half. Like, why is he not leaving his feet to block a shot at the rim? I'm not really sure what he's doing, but that's kind of my thing. Is I'm starting to get a little concerned with what the backup situation looks like behind him, and if Donnie's not potentially on the men quickly, that's 10, 12 minutes a game we got to sort out.
Moving on to Sadiq, I think Sadiq's been pretty good up and down in this tournament. He made a three today. That was great. I think he's given us good energy, good activity for the most part. Um, but at times on offense, he's part of that. N- you know, I think I just remember a couple of possessions where he had a couple of like fadeaway floaters and stuff like that that we need to clean up. But for the most part, I've actually thought Sadiq's been really, really good in this tournament as well. I think him and Kyle, it's tough. Him and Kyle, it's been a tough combo with them, especially when they're out there also with Nate and JJ, because the shooting just isn't very good. Like you've
No,
got Kings is the only guy who can shoot in that roster, and like you get 3-point attempts from George and you get 3-point attempts from JJ, but they're not truly good. And Sadiq's not a consistent enough shooter at this point, and obviously Kyle doesn't shoot. So you basically have four non-shooters on the floor, and one 3-point shooter who's not honestly not even shooting that well. So I just think that
I was gonna say,
Sadiq's having trouble because I think that he misses those minutes where he could play with Donnie and you get a little bit of that inverse spacing. You know what I mean?
100%. I'm with you. I wasn't. I thought Sadiq was fine in this tournament. I thought he was really good to start that Houston game. Like immediately answered the physicality that him and Kyle set the tone in that game, and it carried through the
Agreed.
entire ball game. I thought he like the early game. It was a little bit of a mess offensively, just because like everything was being thrown the ball all around. We got to figure out ways to get him involved more. I think on the
Agreed.
Sadiq side of things. Like I think we're underutilizing him, and I get that there's some spacing issues. I'm with you on that. That's that lineup. He just like where is he supposed to go?
But that
Really,
five
but
just doesn't work. He's got to play with other guys. Like it just
uh, and so yeah, man, I like what I'm seeing out of Sadiq. We just got to figure out better ways to leverage him. Honestly,
agreed. I agree with that. I should make sure I say that I thought Sadiq was really good, and I think some of the problems that he's facing is more around the lineups he's playing with, and kind of the not running any semblance of an offense, and he's kind of a lot of time just kind of stuffed into the corner on offense, and then like occasionally slashing at the basket or getting a look at three, and it's not helping his game.
no, not at all. Just an update on the Soiree question there. He has not attempted a shot this year.
Hmm.
You can't. I mean, he passed up a dunk tonight.
Yeah, he did pass up a dunk today. He needed to dunk that. Moving on to Nate Kings. Nate Kings continues to do a lot of things well, but he just isn't shooting, and he's not shooting consistently enough.
He's got to make a jumper. He's got to make a jumper. He came out firing tonight, missed his first couple. He did hit one in the late in the first half as we were making a little bit of that run. When we started to get our only semblance of ball movement the entire game was like that little stretch at the end of the first half where we went on that 10-0 run after we got down 10. And he hit a shot off that. But yeah, I mean, he's just simply got to hit shots. I mean, the Kansas game, like 1 for 7. We were texting back and forth. I don't think he had one shot that wasn't honestly pretty wide open, you know? And I've said I'm the leader of the fan club, but he's got to make some jumpers, man. That's why he's here.
It's unfortunate because I don't really want to criticize anything else he does because he's been really good. Good rebounding, good defense, good
I was
cutting.
gonna say, like, this play to start the game where he came weak side to block that shot at the rim. Like, he's a good basketball player. I like his game.
He just needs to make some shots.
We need him to shoot the ball. You know, like. It's just,
JJ. I just have a big problem with how JJ's been playing. I think I looked down and I think I sent it to you. I think 15, 16 minutes into the game, JJ has 2 shots. It's just, it's not enough. Like, Donnie's out, and if JJ is going to have 2 shots, we're just putting too much pressure on guys like Betsy, guys like Kyan to fully carry the scoring load. And, I agree we need to get more shots for Sadiq, but how do we do that? We got to put him in pick and roll with JJ, and JJ has to be able to get downhill and turn the corner. There's too many times where JJ gets stuck in pick and roll, and he doesn't attack off the pick and roll, and he doesn't attack to the hoop. I think a lot of it's probably due to he's scared to go to the foul line right now, which is a problem.
Yeah.
Because if he goes to the hoop, he's going to get fouled or he's going to get a good shot every time. It's one of the two. And he's just not doing it enough. I think he's scared to go to the free throw line. And it's unfortunate because I would love to sit here and talk about how JJ's played probably the best defense I've seen him play at Syracuse through 2.5 games, because obviously nobody played good defense in that second half. But through 2.5 games, that's some of the best defense I've seen from JJ. But again, I just think that the lineup with him, Nate George, at the 2 guard spots is just not working because the shooting isn't good enough.
Him and George just aren't working together. I'm with you across the board there. I mean, again tonight, George and Starling combined for 14 shots. Not enough. Like, how many times are we saying this?
And how many of those are like settles late in the shot clock because they dribbled the ball for 30 seconds?
Right. Like, it's not good enough. Yeah, I mean, the JJ situation, I was fearing it on our last podcast when we were watching that Houston game. It's very real. He is clearly avoiding contact at the rim. He does not he's not even looking at the rim sometimes when he's dropped. If there's anybody in the lane, he is not putting the ball up. He's just not even looking at it. He's clearly shook it with the yips, the hitch. I don't know what we're calling it now. The hip yitch, whatever. It's just.
I think you can firmly call it yips. It's gone from hitch to yips pretty quickly.
We have multiple cases of it on the team right now, so it is what it is. Yeah, man, it's just he's got to be better, and we need him to play aggressive. We need him to score. Like, the moments where we look good, it's when JJ wakes up for like 3.5 minutes and he starts to penetrate, and we start to move the ball, starts to pop around a little bit, and then we came back from the second half and we all just stood there and stared at each other again, and that was the game.
The intentionality that he plays with is just it's not doing it for me. It's coming off of a screen, looking downhill. You gotta look downhill to attack. And the couple of times he did that, even like this one where he did it with Betsy on a pick and pop, like he just took one step. All he had to do was take one step. Both guys came rushing to him. He just tossed it over to Betsy. It was like the easiest bucket we had all night. We both said after that, just go back to that 100 times for the rest of the game. I don't think we did it another time in this game.
No, I mean, how many times was JJ being guarded by like Momcilovic at 25 feet and just refused to try and blow by him? Like, you've got to attack that matchup, man. That's a matchup you got to win. You've got to win that matchup if you're being guarded by a slow-footed forward on the perimeter. You've got to get by him. It just is what it is.
The real question is who was more disappointing in this tournament, JJ or Nate George? And I think it was probably Nate George.
Yeah, someone who talked him up a lot. I mean, I don't know what we're getting from him right now. I mean, the last two games, I think he's combined to take 9 shots, I believe, by my records. The last two games combined. I think it's 9 shots taken. I believe 9 turnovers as well. Uh, check that. But uh, the urgency he is playing with in getting us in the offense is just not good enough. Like
It's not good
you are
enough.
you are the leader on the floor. We have got to get into an offense in the first 10 to 12 seconds that we have the ball. We are never how many he is just standing at half court pounding the ball, pounding the ball, pounding the ball. And then it's like how many and then the first pass so often is like a toss to William Kyle at the 3-point line. It's like where is this possession about to go? Seriously, you know? We're not doing him any favors because we don't run anything. We run absolutely nothing. But I'm just disappointed with how his inability to create advantages. Like he's not getting by people. He's not causing any sort of pressure on the defense, and like we need him to do that. He's got to initiate offense. He's got to play with urgency. He's got to put pressure on the defense. He's got to penetrate. We're not getting any of that right now. What we're getting is him dribbling into the corner, dribbling into traps, and throwing lazy lob passes to non-shooting bigs. That's what we're getting. Just got to be better.
Agreed on all ends. Nothing else to say to that. It's a perfect recap of how he's doing. It's not good enough. With this
Yep.
kind of play at point guard, it's going to be a problem, especially because right now we can't just lob it into Donnie and have him initiate, which is our plan a lot of times, right? Like,
Yeah. It's clear like the only thing it seems like we only want to practice is whatever that pick and pop is to Donnie at the top of the key, and we like are seem to be unaware that this isn't going to work without his skill set on the floor.
right, because
You
he
know,
can drive it, he can get into the mid range,
he can shoot
he
it.
just
Like he
yeah.
can score at all three levels. Like all that said, I do think him and you touched on it too. Him and JJ were very good defensively for stretches, but that's just not why they're here. Like we need them to play great defense. We do. But they have to score and they
I just
have
don't know
to
where you
initiate.
go from here because they can't play together. They cannot play together.
It's becoming a problem, man.
They
It's
just
becoming
can't, right? Because if you look at it, dude, like there's a lot of times where one of those guys actually does get a little bit downhill, bends the defense a little bit. We swing it around, and it ends up in one of the other two of theirs hands, right? It's like Nate runs it, and all of a sudden it ends in JJ's hands, and like JJ doesn't really want to do anything with it in that moment.
yeah.
And that ends up putting a lot of pressure on the last two guys we're going to talk about, who are Kyan and Betsy. And, at moments, those guys have looked really good for us. And I think we both expected that those guys would be there for moments, right? Where you would just be like, hey, if we can get a run of 10 points from Betsy, we can get a run of 8 points from Kyan in a small spurt, like this team's gonna be really good. Like that's what we were hoping for from those guys, right? Is like small spurts where they might get, a little hot, make a couple shots, whatever, and they would be additive to what we were doing. Right now, it feels like if those two guys aren't scoring 15, 20 points, both of them, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, Tyler Betsy is like a borderline one of our three most indispensable players at the current moment because he's the only
Right.
guy who seems to hit shots every game.
Right.
Like he's the only guy who's shooting every game. And like,
But even him, it's not like he's shooting great. He's shooting fine.
no, he just keeps firing. He
Right.
fires and like he will make some of them because he's a good shooter. But
I mean, he ends
yeah,
up right
it's
around that 30-40% from three, which is great, but it's not like he's going off for 50% from three for every game, right? So it's not like,
no,
oh,
he's
we
going
need to
3 for
get this guy
9.
the ball. He's doing just
Right,
fine the way
and we're
he is.
literally right. We're kind of just like, all right, you can get a shot off, just let it go.
Right.
Like that's sort. It's kind of what we're running.
It's the same thing with Kyan. It's like, okay, like we don't have anything else to just jack threes. And it's like that's
No,
hurting his game as well. But like,
that's what I was about to say. Like this is not a good development. So, like we don't. He doesn't need. Like honestly, he needs a little more structure to his game. Like we need to. You were talking about like let's get him more opportunities to play off the move, and so he's not just dribble, 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 cross. Like the ball starts to stop when we're doing that. Like we need to put him in better opportunities as well. And it's just yeah, it's just a little befuddling. And I also like I know we've talked about it a little bit. I think we're over substituting. Like
yeah,
I'm fine with the minutes distribution. It's the frequency with which guys are coming out of the game. Like they're not getting rhythm. They're not getting enough rhythm, and you wonder if that's affecting how we're shooting the ball.
I think it is. I
If,
mean, there's that 10-0 run that we had where we substitute right after that 10-0 run, and you kind of called it out to me like, I hate this. I hate that we substituted right after that. And luckily, we played the last few minutes of that half pretty even, so it didn't kill us. But that was a moment where we had a lot of momentum, and then you kind of just halted it. We played kind of even towards the end of the half, but like maybe if you stick with that lineup that was working in that moment, that lineup can actually get you a lead.
it's a 6 point lead maybe going into the half, and it's just like we don't need to just substitute because there's a timeout. It feels like that's what we do sometimes. But then other times it's like I'm watching Akir be in for way too long of a period when it's clear that like we need to get Kyle back in, and we've just got to manage the rotation better right now. I don't think that I know that we're still trying to figure things out, but these games really mattered, and we kind of needed to do that in the first four.
I could have forgiven Red though for maybe not having the 5 minutes
Totally. Yes.
figured out
Yeah.
because of Donnie. Because like you did
Yeah.
need, I know we were talking about Donnie getting 5 to 8 minutes
Yeah.
at the 5, but it's become pretty evident that you needed that. And I also wonder like without Donnie, I've noticed that early in the season when Donnie and Cayenne played together, I thought it helped Cayenne a lot because it was kind of like here's the guy who's kind of doing all the work for you, and then you can kind of work off of him. And because he's bending
Yes.
the defense so much, it gave Cayenne a lot more opportunities to get to the mid range, to get to the hoop, to get more open shots. And I feel like without that big man who's kind of a gravity, it's harder for these freshmen and these shooters to get off as much. So like the guys that I'm going to forgive, right? The two guys that I've already talked about forgiving because Donnie hasn't been here are Sadiq and Cayenne. And I think those are the guys who really were hurt the most by not having Donnie because having Donnie really opens things up for both of those guys. And I think they play really well with Donnie. But the bigger problem is that I was more concerned with Nate, George, and JJ, which is a lot less about Donnie and a lot more
Yeah.
about them.
Correct. Correct. And just what we're doing for our guards and the offense overall. Like I think both things can be true. The guard play isn't good enough. We're also doing nothing to make the guard play better.
Help.
And
Yeah.
like it's just it's frustrating because like we've unfortunately watched this as at Syracuse basketball for a while. The end of the Boeheim era had a lot of this stuff, right? Like we have not run a crystal offense in a while. It's just got to be better, man, because we're going to have a lot of frustrating basketball games. Like we should have been up by 10 to 12 points in that first half. We were outplaying them and we didn't make any shots and we left a lot on the board. And then we got down, we make a run. Then we're just not ready to start the second half and the game slips away from you. And like,
I
that's
don't
what
know what
happens when you
happened
play
in
against
that
teams
second
you can't
half, but
beat.
not being ready to start it was a crime there.
It's just not okay. Yeah, it's not, you
Yeah.
can't do that. The beginning of the game, I could have understood. Weird tip off time. It's 10 a.m. local. You figured out you were playing them 12 hours ago. You can write that to me all day, right? That slow first 10 minutes, fine. To come out of the half that way, right? Like after you had some momentum, I don't know. Just
I just wonder if
it's
they lost their
demoralizing.
legs and they were dead. I just wonder if it was like they gave everything they had to be in that game at half and they were just dead by the end of it. But we have a little bit
Yeah.
of a
It did
layoff
look like
now.
I will say Kyle did look fucking exhausted
Exhausted.
in that
That's why I'm talking about
in that
not giving
second
him
half.
more minutes. Like
Yeah.
I do hear you on Soiree needs to play better and all that stuff, but like
Uh,
yeah, we can't ask more from Kyle than what
no,
we're
I know.
asking because he's given us everything right now.
The reason why I'm doing it is because he's playing so well. I'm just like
But
I can't. They're hard to watch with him off the court. But I'm with you. I know what you're
right, but
getting
I
at.
I
Like,
can't lose those minutes he's playing so well, right? Like we get 70% of that guy, we're really in trouble. Um
totally, totally. But he
we
he
do miss
looked he
Donnie.
looked flavored.
I think we do miss Donnie, and I think now as we go forward here, like getting him back is going to be critical, right? And I don't know what his status is. He's going to be reevaluated when he comes back to Syracuse. And I said to you, like, kind of the way that this injury has flowed for me, it hasn't seemed like a short term thing. Red didn't give a great answer on it after the first game versus Houston. He kind of said like he was uncomfortable answering the question and
Yeah,
didn't really give a time frame. He said maybe a shorter thing than a longer term thing. It's definitely not season ending. And the fact that we're even in the realm of ruling out season ending is not great.
yeah.
Um, And I think that this is more months than it is weeks. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's back for the Tennessee game. But um, without him, we're gonna have a long stretch here until the new year. Obviously, it starts with Tennessee, but then it gets a lot easier. And those are games we're going to have to win. We can't afford to lose any of those games walking into the ACC. We'll probably end up, if we lose Tennessee, like 10-4 ish entering the ACC. And then you need to have a 10 to 12 win ACC season, followed by, a couple, probably a semifinal final berth in the ACC tournament to get to where we thought we should be this year, which is around like a 6 to 8 seed. Anything less than that, you're going to end up as a bubble team. And then anything, significantly less than that, you're just not even going to be in consideration for the tournament. So we've put a lot of pressure on ourselves for the rest of the season, and we really need Donnie back, I think, as soon as possible. But, if we end up losing him for a big stretch of the season, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. Yeah, I think we probably need to win close to 13 games in the ACC at this point now. Is what it is. We squandered some opportunities this week. We knew this was a big week all year, all off season. So it just is what it is. I mean, look, still want to be like, there's still some things to obviously be positive about from the week. It's just that ending is so bad and such a letdown that it's tough to think that way right now. But we got to rebound because December 2nd is a week away, and that Tennessee game is, that's our last real op of this season, and then the margin of error is literally gone. It's gone. Like, you're going to have to win quad one games on the road in the ACC.
You're gonna have to. Yeah, at this point, you have to. Even if you win the quad one at home, you're gonna have to win a quad one on the road. And like
Might
that's
be a
what made
couple.
that last possession versus Houston so critical. And I just wonder, the what if the doorway to another season, I think, was opened right there at the end of that Houston game. You come down with a chance to win the game. And I think if you win that game, it doesn't really matter if you lose the next two. You walk away having beaten the number 3 team in the nation. I just think you're probably walking out the door feeling pretty good about yourself. You probably don't play the next two games the way you did play them. I think you get a little bit of confidence boost from
Yeah.
beating that Houston team. And so I do worry about the door was open for us to have a different kind of season. And it just, I wonder if that moment is going to be the one we look back on and be like, that's where the season kind of slipped away for us. Because my biggest problem with it is we didn't even get a shot up to try to win the game there.